Hey folks, how's it going? This is Seagull here, back with another Sonic Info / Thoughts video. So let's catch up on some recent news. We'll start off with Team Sonic Racing, because they recently revealed 3 new characters being added to the roster. 2 of the characters you probably expected, but one's a really interesting surprise. So first up is Amy Rose, and I think I already saw her in the background of one screenshot, and I mean, it's Amy. She's like a main character. It would be really weird if she wasn't in it, even though I don't like Amy much personally. And then we have Big the Cat. So glad that he's in here, and well, he's not riding his motorbike from Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, but this cart still looks like a pretty suitable replacement. It definitely screams big in my eyes. And then the last spot for Team Rose goes to Multiple Chow? Wow, this is interesting. I'm really glad Sumo did manage to throw a curveball into this very limited character roster. So we got Omo Chow, a Hero Chow, a Neutral Chow, and a Dark Chow, all collaborating to drive a single cart. That's really cute, and I feel like this is going to help sell copies of the game, because I mean, so many people want Chow Raising to return to the main Sonic games, so yeah, this looks like a really fun inclusion. I can't wait to see how this plays, and if they're unlocked from the start, which they probably will be, they're going to be one of the first characters I'll try out. But the inclusion of these Chow brings up another discussion. Where's Cream the Rabbit? Because normally she's that last spot on Team Rose. And, well, maybe Cream could be part of a team with Silver and Blaze, instead of, like, Marine the Raccoon taking up that 3rd spot. And yeah, I guess I can imagine that being possible. Although, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Cream these days. So I don't mind if the Chow are actually completely taking her spot. So in the end, I'm glad there's at least one surprise character, instead of it being exactly what probably most of us were expecting, where it's the Sonic Heroes roster plus Dr. Eggman with 2 different egg pawns on a team together, because, well, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens with Eggman's team, because there was a sort of weird tradition for the first 2 Sonic Riders games where you had these 2 robots that nobody asked for. Like in the first Riders game, there were those 2 E-10,000 robots, and then in Zero Gravity, there were those SCR robots that were constantly using rollout, and in my opinion were pretty difficult to handle. But yeah, I can imagine that sort of thing happening again to sort of cut costs, even though that'd be really lame. And speaking of lame, well, I'm gonna be honest, I'm very worried about the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog movie, because the more I hear about it, the more I get concerned. I've been avoiding this topic for a while, but yeah, it's about time that I say something at least. So first up, Tails Channel spoke to Patrick Casey, who is a writer on the movie, and he does confirm a couple of details. Someone asked if Sonic will look weird and freaky like in that fan film, or will he look more like the CGI in the games? He said neither, and that Sonic will have a new design that's still Sonic, but a little more realistic. That makes me feel reassured, but also worried at the same time, because yeah, maybe he'll look kind of similar to Sonic Unleashed's model on the right, but with actual fur and divided eyes? I don't know. I'm not really sure how well this is going to turn out. Maybe it won't be absolutely horrible, but I don't know if it'll be that great either. The other thing was addressing the fear that the human characters will get more screen time than Sonic, but he says that Sonic is the main character. That was very important to us, but hopefully it's not the case of Sonic just barely being the main character, with the human characters taking up still too much screen time. Almost like in the first season of Sonic X. And by the way, it was confirmed by Variety that James Marsden is going to be the human star in the movie. I actually haven't really seen him in much. I think the only movie I've seen him in before was as the prince in Enchanted. Like, yeah, that memorable scene where he jumps down from the bridge and he starts singing and then he gets run over by cyclists. Yeah, that movie. The last thing I want to talk about is that the president and CEO of Paramount Pictures, Jim Giannopoulos, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but he says that Sonic's story involves him being a juvenile delinquent on the adventures in a pretty straight rural environment with a local policeman. It was instantly engaging and it was good enough where you could see where it's going. And then Neil Moritz, who's the producer on the movie, says, "What we're trying to do with Sonic is make a movie about a small town police officer and Sonic at a time when they are both desperately in need of a friend. And we hope that this theme of friendship is what gives the film its heart and makes it prosper." Now this is just strange to me. It's like as if the only exposure that these people have had to Sonic is the first cutscene of the hero story in Sonic Adventure 2. And then they saw that and they're like, okay, Sonic the Hedgehog, he's a delinquent there, so we're going to do this for our movie adaptation as well. And since the Adventure series games do have real humans in there, I guess they felt justified in doing that. And I don't know, I'm not sure why every time that they make a TV show or a movie about Sonic, it always has to be like something weird involved. Like they can't just simply make something that takes place in the canon Sonic universe but doesn't necessarily have to actually be canon to the games, but have like the same style and characters and that sort of thing. No, there always has to be some sort of rebranding to try and make Sonic appeal to the modern era when they don't need to do that. They just need to have Sonic as he was in the early 90s and 2000s, and I mean that's what made so many people fall in love with Sonic in the first place. They don't need to try and pair Sonic with these human characters all the time, apart from Dr. Eggman, to make Sonic feel relatable or whatever. Just, I don't know. I'm not sure when Sega will ever understand this. And it's also kind of weird, there's been conflicting reports as to whether Sega has any actual involvement in the movie apart from like the given like merchandising and licensing agreements. But yeah, I don't know. Apparently they're not involved, or apparently Azuka is like consulting on the movie. I don't know. It's a very strange situation. The only success story that I've seen recently with translating Sonic into a TV show or a movie is Sonic Boom. Although to immediately contradict that, the creative team is apparently no longer working on the show, so it might or might not be canceled. I don't know. But even though I wish that there were more characters from the Sonic games that had appeared in that series, it still ended up being really entertaining because of its clever writing, and they seem to know what Sonic was all about. Whereas with the people behind the movie, I don't really feel assured about that. But it's sad to see that the Sonic movie is probably going in a pretty bad direction. I mean, video game movies usually are pretty terrible. I think the only ones that I enjoyed were the first few Pokemon movies before I kind of took a break from Pokemon for a long time. And also Wreck-It Ralph, if you want to count that, but that was more like an original character that had some established video game characters appear in it, so it's not quite the same. But yeah, and I guess the Prince of Persia movie was alright. It wasn't like fantastic, but I thought it was alright. But yeah, that alone already made me worried about the Sonic movie, but now knowing a bit more about it, I'm just like, uh-oh. And I'm such a big fan of Sonic, yet I might not even go see this movie. It's not good when your core Sonic fans are still like just not sold on seeing this movie. I guess it still is pretty early considering there isn't even a full trailer out yet, but my hopes are not high. At least there's still some Sonic Mania adventures to look forward to. I still need to do a reaction video for the recent episodes, but I think I might just do like one big long video of all 5 episodes. We'll see what happens. But that wraps up another Sonic info/thoughts video. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about the new characters announced for Team Sonic Racing, as well as your thoughts on the Sonic movie so far. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!